Welcome to the first edition of the Allied Youth Football Live podcast. I'm Trace Henderson, solo without my co-host Eric Green. We want to go ahead and start the podcast for the year. Spring football is upon us, training camp is upon us, so hey, we want to kind of set the mood for football. And man, it seemed like as soon as it was over, it was back again. So we want to welcome we want to welcome you guys back. Those of you who are not familiar with what we do this podcast weekly out there every game, just discussing some of the highlights, some of the things that stand out, comparing the teams, going head to head. Looking forward to the weeks previous, the week, like I said, ahead, the matchups, and of course the individual players that kind of stand out. Um, Again, this is also an avenue to relay information to the coaches, the parents, those who are not in or those who are on the periphery looking out, or on the outside, basically, looking in, who are not privy to the meetings and are not always able to make the meetings. This is an avenue where you can find information for the league as well and kind of keep afloat. So we want to get right to the purpose of the podcast today, and that is just to welcome back the organizations that are returning, which all six return, and talk about our some of the dates that we have for the important dates to remember before the season actually start, and to kind of to go over briefly what we are going to be doing this year as it relates to Allied. Um, the first on the welcome back, we want to welcome back all six organizations from last year. When you are able to welcome back all of the organizations that you signed, that says a lot about what you are offering and what you are doing as a league. So we want to welcome back the conference champions on three levels, the Triple D Wolverines, Coach Gill, um, the Dallas Rangers, the Oak Cliff Gators, the Arlington Gators, the Oak Cliff Tar Heels, the Dallas Ramblin' Bulls, and the Duncanville Sharks. Um, Guys, welcome back. We want to thank y'all, everybody that's come back from these organizations and put their trust in us. That we want to make improvements, and keeping in line with the improvements, we want to welcome our new teams. We'll start with SMU. That is Southern Metroplex United. They are a organization that's split from the Ducks Elite. So we know the Ducks Elite is a quality organization that always had high participation. Don't have anything bad to say about those guys, Coach E. Um, so we look forward to SMU. Their numbers are already up. They are in basketball right now. So we look at for SMU to make an instant impact with the league. That's SMU is Southern Metroplex United. So we want to welcome those guys and thank you for joining Allied. Also, instantly, we want a team that we feel like bring instant legitimacy and notoriety to the league, and that is the Fair Park Cardinals coming off their run for Pop Warner. I believe Fair Park has been around for the last 5 years, but we want to thank Coach Quincy for joining Allied. I think Fair Park is an organization already have great participation numbers. We want to see what they have to offer. I think that they'll make an instant impact as well on the field. So we'll look forward to breaking down some of the things that they have to do to be successful in Allied in weeks to come. Last but not least, a team that you guys are familiar with in Allied if you were with Allied last year, and that is the North Dallas Trojans. They struggled in their participation numbers last year and actually wasn't able to get off the ground. But Coach Tex is hungry, he's motivated, and he's a year into this, so he's a little bit more experienced and knows what he have to do in an effort to bring in kids and get the participation levels up and bring the Trojans up to where they need to be. And I've seen him get early, so I'm impressed with what he's been doing so far. So now that those are the teams, the 9 teams that we have, we want to look at the dates for some of the events that we have coming up. We're going to start with 4-6, which is our welcome mixer. Kind of just thank you for allowing Allied to be your league that you guys are participating in. That's our way, like I said, of saying thank you. That is 4-6. Moving right on along to the player certifications. We have 2 player certifications this year. The first of which being July 27th. Second player certification being 8/17. And then the cheerleading certification 8/24. On these certifications, guys, we are gonna the certification process is gonna be a little bit more strict. We want you guys, we're letting you guys know early what you need, and those teams who've been here a year ago kind of know what you need: birth certificate originals, report card originals. But we do accept state IDs; those trump everything that you could possibly bring. So please start getting that information in early so that you guys have that in for those kids, and then you don't have the hassle of going to go hassle the parents about report cards and birth certificates. But we will have a very, very strict certification. So guys, please start to prepare for that early. 8-3, the Invasion Bowl. This is the second time we will do this. As you see our backdrop, the Invasion Bowl. We've getting a lot of feedback from teams that wanting to participate in the Invasion Bowl. Year 2 of this bowl game is going to be off the chart, man. I anticipate going all in on the Invasion Bowl and make sure that it's a showcase for us to show what Allied is about. So teams that are participating in other leagues, we want to make sure that we put on a good show for them, and not just them, of course, for our teams that will participate in that bowl game. We don't want to half-ass anything, so we will be doing the Invasion Bowl. A lot of response from teams from my sports and other leagues that are interested in reaching out, some from Texas sports. The other thing that we will, of course, be doing, the last but not least, something that caused a lot of controversy, but was a lot of fun. But before I go into that, I want to say that our cheer and drill side, I talked about the certification date. Please start to recruit cheer and drill. We really want to amp up the cheer and drill. We know that the U has a very, very good quality cheer and drill program for their teams. We want to be able to match that energy. So please, and we just can't forget about the girls that we do have. We don't want to just push them to the side. That cheer and drill is so important to the quality of the organization, the participation of an organization, some of your revenue as an organization. So you can't forget about the girls. We really need to show our appreciation for them more, and we will strive to do everything that we can to make sure that their experience is just as good as the boys. So we won't be leaving out our cheer and drill. So please be recruiting. We have high expectations for them. But the last thing I wanted to mention, the Allied will be offering is the Legends Case Trophy. We will again be doing that this year. Behind me, you see our backdrop for the Invasion Bowl. That's going to change. That's going to be the players who won the award in 2018. 3 of those players are returning and they are still in Allied. So we want to push those players out. Our players that improve and make our organization, our league, a quality organization. We want to make sure that those teams, those players are on the forefront of what we're doing. And that is not to minimize anything that any kid is doing, because football is the ultimate team sport. But when players are working hard and they're giving their all and putting their teams on their back and making sure that their team win, and they're helping give quality games, like we seen last year with the Sharks and the Wolverines, like we seen with the Rangers and the Wolverines. Though when those kids are out there and the Tar Heels, had some standout players. When those players are coming out week in and week out and they're battling, we want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to show our appreciation for them and push them and to motivate them that this is the beginning of their football careers as they go on and progress to each level. We want to show our appreciation and keep those kids hungry. So those kids will be on our backdrop. We will have the Legends Case Trophy weekly. We'll keep you guys up to date on who we anticipate will be in that race this year for the 2019 season. And the very, very last thing that I'd like to mention our relationship with the U. First of all, I want to go on the record as saying um, with the U that we had got over a heated relationship from last year and the years past. I want to say that the U I feel like is a quality league. Kind of stung me last year when they didn't want to when they didn't want to work with me, but they had good reasons. So we want to say we want to make sure that we do everything that we can, and me personally, to make sure that our relationship with the U is strong. And I'm going to fight for them and promote and push them as just as much as I can with Allied. We're not stepping on their toes. So I want to send a big special shout out to Billy King, who was one of the masterminds behind this. KD, Kareem, BJ, Kevin, Miss Jennifer, Miss Quinn. I just really met this year. But the people that I mentioned before, KD, Kareem, BJ, Billy, been knowing those guys, worked with them, coached with them. So I want to say, thank you. I'm glad that we were able to put aside our differences. And man, that just shows the level of maturity and appreciation that those guys have for what we are doing. And it just shows their ability to put differences aside to do what is best for the kids and a better product. So we are thankful for the U, and we look forward to our relationship with the U. We are working on seeing exactly how this relationship is going to look, what we are going to do, how often we're going to do it. So please, that is a work in progress. The U is a very detailed organization in the league. They want to make sure that everything is lined up. We of course are familiar with how to cross play, and we had very very bad experiences when it came to putting it together last year. But once we got on the field, man, it was so much fun. I think what we did last year, by far, the experience that we had trumped some of the nonsense we dealt with. But now we're dealing with a quality league, a very very good league with I think with good people running it, and we want to make sure that everything, all our ducks are in a row, and that we know actually what we're putting on the field. You may think that it's easy just to line two leagues up and say, "Hey, go out and play." We got to make sure that our rules are aligned right, and some of the nuances that we have are in line. I think we're well on our way to doing that. So we want to thank the U, and we look forward to this season. Man, spring football is here. We wanted to hurry up and get this podcast out because very, very soon, once you guys hit the field, you know how that goes. You start to lose time once you start recruiting, starting to gather information, and then ultimately getting the teams ready. So please tune in weekly to our podcast. We will have my co-host to be back this weekend. We'll start to break down and analyze some of these teams, and so it'll be a lot fun here pretty soon. You won't be having to just listen to me kind of ramble. You'll be able to look and see where we actually rank some of these teams and uh, where they're at. So I'm Trey Sanderson again. You've been tuned in to Allied Football, where champions play and legends are born.